I'm Robert Anderson and welcome to the tourist route.
So good morning and welcome to a new tourist route, and today is very exciting because I'm going to be doing a really weird route from Edinburgh in Scotland in the UK all the way down to Milan, and I'm going to go by train, except it's not just going to be a quick sort of train ride. I'm going to go and visit a few places along the way, but first of all I'm going to go to London for a couple of days, then I'm going to go across to Paris, and I'm going to spend a lot of my time in Switzerland, and I'm going to go and see some Alps because it is the season. It's January and hopefully it'll be very beautiful. So hope you enjoy this one, should be a good one. So I'm travelling by train all the way down to Milan using a 5-day Eurail Pass, which cost $413 or £306 for first class travel on most trains across Europe, including the UK. Second class runs at $325 or £242. Honestly, it's an incredibly cost effective way to travel. Individual rail fares can be eye-wateringly expensive, especially in the UK. In Europe, you'll need to reserve your seats, which comes at an extra cost, but it's an easy process and there's a great app to help you plan and book everything. Just to be clear, this isn't a paid post for Eurail. I genuinely rate the product and think it's a brilliant option for travellers. I hopped on a tram in Edinburgh and caught the 8 AM train down to London, where I was treated to a bacon roll, endless cups of tea and sweeping views of Britain's east coast. Four and a half hours later, I pulled into King's Cross, ready to squeeze in a quick visit to London before the next leg of my journey. London was like a second home to me, so I know it well and have done the majority of the sites, but I wanted to stay a couple of nights to tick a couple of places off the list. I started at St Paul's Cathedral. I have walked past it but have never been into St Paul's Cathedral, so I booked a time ticket online and headed there first. Stepping inside, the scale is striking. The Great Dome, designed by Sir Christopher Wren after the Great Fire of London in 1666, rises overhead, vast and elegant. Built between 1675 and 1710, St Paul's isn't just an architectural masterpiece, it's a symbol of resilience. During the Blitz of World War II, when much of London was reduced to rubble, St Paul's famously survived, mostly, standing tall amid the smoke and the devastation, a powerful image of hope to the nation. Today it's not known for just its beauty, but for the role it's played in royal celebrations, national memorials and public life for over 300 years. Below in the crypt you can see the tombs of Admiral Nelson, the Duke of Wellington and a memorial to T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. Definitely worth a visit if you've never done it before. Really good. Tower Bridge is one of London's most famous landmarks and my second favourite bridge, just behind Scotland's fourth rail bridge. I've crossed it plenty of times but have never tried the museum experience. Inside you can feel its age, with well-climbed staircases leading up to the two high-level walkways. Each walkway is lined with bridge facts, historical displays and a glass floor, giving you a view straight down to the traffic below. The views of the city, especially at dusk, made my visit. You can also check out the old engine room, a treat for you steampunk fans. If you're on a tight London schedule, definitely admire the bridge itself, but the museum isn't an absolute must. The next morning I headed to the Eurostar, and if you're wondering whether the Eurail Pass is good value, this leg proves it. Travelling on the Eurostar with the pass is far more cost effective than booking direct. I rode in Eurostar Plus with my pass, which meant a comfy seat and a meal included for just £35 extra, usually £180 plus for a single trip. In under 2 hours I was in Paris with a bit of time to kill before my next connection.
Paris is another city I've visited a few times, and with a few hours to spare before my next connection at Gare du Lyon, I couldn't resist heading to Notre-Dame. One of the world's most famous cathedrals, Notre-Dame was badly damaged by a fire in 2019. Heartbreaking to watch, it has just reopened in early 2025, and I was keen to see the restoration. The transformation is stunning. Considering the roof collapsed, the restoration is remarkable. Everything has been put back or enhanced with such attention to detail. A word of advice. You can turn up to the cathedral without a ticket, but you may need to queue for a long time. Tickets can only be booked 48 hours in advance, and when I booked, plenty of people were online at midnight snapping up the slots, so act fast. Also, entry is free. There are people offering paid tours, and I don't see why you would need to waste your money. There's still some work happening on the exterior, but inside is absolutely worth the visit. My next leg took me across Paris to Gare du Lyon, where I boarded an SNCF and SBB high-speed train to Basel in Switzerland. It was a smooth 3-hour journey in a very comfortable carriage. No refreshments included in this fare, but the service was fast, efficient, and with plenty of daily departures, it's a super convenient way to travel. It was a very early start for this leg, definitely a coffee and an emergency pastry kind of cold morning. Today's goal, Jungfraujoch, home to the highest railway station in Europe at 3,454 metres, or 11,332 feet, and famed for its breathtaking views. I boarded the SBB train, climbed to the top deck where to my delight I had the carriage to myself, and spent 2 hours gliding through stunning Swiss landscapes on the way to Interlaken. From Interlaken I switched to a local train towards Grindelwald, where I was under the impression I'd be able to catch the gondola up the mountain. But I was mistaken. The gondola station is at the stop before at Grindelwald Terminal, not Grindelwald Station. That mix-up cost me 30 minutes. Next came the Glacier Express gondola, which is about a 50-minute ride up to the Jungfraujoch. There I transferred to the Jungfrau Railway, and in 35 minutes we were at the top. After a short walk through the carved out tunnels, you get to the Sphinx Observatory viewing deck. On a clear day, the Glacier views are absolutely spectacular, at least from what I've seen from photos. I wasn't so lucky weather-wise today.
Unfortunately, this isn't my day for seeing the view. It's a little bit of a whiteout, unfortunately. Oh well, need to come again?
There are also ice caves and a few small exhibitions, but really you're paying for the view. And it's not cheap. £234 or $316 for a day ticket. Yes, you heard that right. There is a discount with the Eurail Pass, and children's tickets are around £30 or $40. Honestly, I found it a bit overpriced for what you get. By late afternoon I made my way down the mountain, connected through Interlaken and Spitz, and arrived at the final stop for the day, the charming little town of Visp. Visp was a wonderful little town, surrounded with beautiful mountains. I stayed in Visp before visiting Zermatt, mainly because the accommodation in Zermatt is famously pricey, especially in winter, and Visp offered something much more affordable without sacrificing comfort. The train ride from Visp to Zermatt was absolutely stunning, winding through some of the most beautiful alpine scenery. Zermatt is a classic alpine village, known for its stunning mountain setting and peaceful car-free streets, making it easy to explore on foot. While it's a major destination for skiing and snowboarding in the winter, summer brings excellent opportunities for hiking, mountain biking and climbing across well-marked trails. The village offers a mix of alpine lodges, top-quality restaurants and unique local shops, making it a worthwhile stop for anyone interested in outdoor adventure or experiencing authentic Swiss mountain life. For me, I was looking forward to seeing the Matterhorn, one of Switzerland's most famous peaks, easily recognised by its sharp pyramid shape. It dominates the skyline in Zermatt, and visitors can take the cable car up to the Glacier Paradise, Europe's highest viewing platform. So that's what I did. It's just a 15-minute walk from the train station, which brings you to the gondola station that takes you up to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. In winter, the area is dominated by skiers, and ticket prices start at about 114 Swiss francs, or about £103 or $139, with slightly lower prices in the summer. The first leg of the ride takes about 25 minutes, offering incredible landscapes along the way. At the top station, you can enjoy the alpine views or grab a bite at the cafe. From there, you can take a second gondola that crosses into Italy, which takes about 20 minutes, leading to Europe's highest viewing deck. You'll need to take an elevator and navigate some slippery steps, but the panoramic alpine views are unforgettable. Unsurprisingly, it's freezing up there, so be sure to pack warm layers. The site also offers a small cinema, a busy cafe and glacier ice caves to explore, though I found parts of the caves a bit claustrophobic.
Well, I'm all my lonesome in this cable car going back down to Zermatt, and as you can see hopefully in the foreground, there is the Matterhorn. And I've seen it quite a lot today, but I just don't know how you get bored of a view like that. Amazing. One thing I will say, it's very cold. I think it's about minus 10 degrees Celsius. But it's not too bad. I'm not freezing. But wow, what a place.
The Glacier Express is one of the world's most famous rail journeys, connecting the mountain resorts of Zermatt and St. Moritz in the central Swiss Alps. It offers a direct 8-hour 291km trip that skips local train stops, very much a tourist route. This journey was a major reason why I wanted to do this trip, and I was really excited to experience it. While it's included in the Eurail Pass, seat reservations are required and should be booked weeks in advance. It's a very popular route. Luggage space is tight, so packing light really does help. The carriages are modern with 2 and 4 seat layouts, very comfortable wide seats with a flappy table. There is table service on board in first class, but meals and drinks are additional to the ticket. There are also large tourist-friendly windows so everyone can see the views. There is also onboard Wi-Fi, USB and power outlets, and onboard tourist commentary when you pass a point of interest via supplied earphones. I opted for the onboard meal, which was a slightly watery dal curry. I took the train from Zermatt to 𝐶, a 5.5-hour ride. It sounds long, but the scenery made the journey go really quickly. Once in 𝐶, I had a quick but enjoyable walk around the town, and there is a good reason why I'm here. Arguably the most famous train journey in Switzerland is the Bernina Express, a scenic route from Chur in the Swiss Alps down to Traiano in northern Italy. Like the Glacier Express, it's included in the Eurail Pass, but seat reservations are required and should be booked weeks in advance. It's another very popular route. The trains are very comfortable in first class. Seats are in 2 and 4 arrangements, though the 4-seaters have tiny tables, which felt a bit odd. Compared to the Glacier Express, the carriages felt a bit more dated. Luggage space is very tight with only a small rack for larger suitcases, but the windows are even bigger, making it easier to take in the views. There's table service for drinks, but there is no food on board, but the journey is only around 4 hours. The scenery, as expected, stunning, with the Landwasser Viaduct being an early highlight. The train climbs high into the Alps, stopping just over halfway at Alp Grüm, 2,091 metres or 6,860 feet, offering breathtaking views stretching down into Italy. From there, the train winds down towards Italy, crossing the iconic Bruzio spiralled viaduct, a single-track, 9-arch stone bridge designed to keep the gradient under 7%, and now a signature feature of the route. Finally, you roll right through the town of Traiano, almost like a tram, and find yourself in Italy. Step out of the station, cross the road, and you're at the main train station, where I caught a local train towards Milan, passing the foothills and Lake Como. I arrived in Milan in around 2 hours. I only had 2 days in Milan, so I went for the main attractions. The starting point was the Piazza del Duomo, which is the main square of the city, outside of the cathedral. In the middle is a very impressive statue of King Victor Emmanuel II, who is on horseback. The Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II is a stunning 19th century glass-covered arcade connecting Piazza del Duomo to Piazza del Scala. Inside, you'll find luxury boutiques, elegant cafes, and beautiful mosaic floors. I was later told there was a tradition of spinning your heel on the bull mosaic for good luck, something I'll need to do another time. The Milan Cathedral, or Duomo di Milano, is one of Europe's most detailed landmarks. I booked my ticket in advance as I found out this can sell out fast. I opted for the top tier ticket, which started my journey on the roof. Via an elevator, you can walk among the spires and statues, getting up close to the intricate stonework and enjoy panoramic views over Milan. The detail of the stonework is certainly worth studying. Inside, the cathedral is just as stunning. The vast interior is filled with towering columns, beautiful stained glass, and centuries of history. Don't miss the massive altar, the crypt with St. Charles, or the statue of St. Bartholomew, famously depicted holding his flayed skin. On the way to my next point of interest, I came to the very impressive looking Sforzesco Castle. It is a massive medieval fortress right in the heart of Milan, once home to the powerful Sforzesco family. Surrounded by a huge park, its towering walls and courtyards are impressive to explore, which is 100% free. I didn't go inside this trip, but I believe there is a museum with Renaissance art, ancient instruments, and even Michelangelo's unfinished Pinacoteca. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know I love art. But I have to admit, I didn't realise Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper is located in Milan. Housed in the refectory of the Santa Maria del Grazie, this 500-year-old mural has survived wars, neglect, and numerous restorations. Standing in front of it, you can truly appreciate the scale, the detail, and the raw emotion captured in the apostles' faces. It's amazing to reflect on how much this single work has shaped art and culture over the centuries. On the opposite wall, you'll find Donato Montefano's fresco, The Crucifixion, which is beautifully detailed, but often overshadowed by the main attraction. Visits are strictly timed, with small groups only allowed 15 minutes inside. There is no wider museum to visit, and this is understandably popular, so be sure to book well in advance. My last stop was the Pinacoteca Di Brera, which is Milan's top art gallery, home to a collection of Italian Renaissance masterpieces. You'll find works by Raphael, Caravaggio and Mantegna and more, all housed in a beautifully historic palace. Signage to the gallery is awful, so make sure you go upstairs, and I wouldn't say this gallery was a must visit. Milan is famous for its fashion, its stunning cathedral, and of course its football. What's unique here is that the city's two major teams share the same stadium, the iconic San Siro. With plans for both clubs to move into their own stadiums in the near future, I felt this was the perfect time to take the San Siro tour. From near Piazza del Duomo, you can hop on a tram that takes you straight there in about 30 minutes. The stadium, officially known as San Siro, is an enormous structure, easily recognised by its striking striped columns. It was originally built in 1926 and has been expanded and renovated several times since, making it one of the most iconic football stadiums in the world. The tour starts with a small museum showcasing both clubs, AC Milan and Inter Milan, with displays of great players' shirts and memorabilia. You're then led through the corridor, past the press wall and into the AC Milan changing room, a sea of black and red, complete with sleek, comfy car-style seats. Next is Inter Milan's changing room, simpler and more traditional in design. From there, you walk through the players' tunnel and out into the pitch, where you can take in the scale of the massive stadium. Since both clubs share the venue, an entire team works behind the scenes to switch out all the signage for each match. And because they're in the same league, during derby games, one club needs to be the official away side. Which means if you're a season ticket holder and you're at an away match, you'll need to sit in the away end rather than your regular seat. Overall, it's a very cool experience and takes about an hour. Wrapping up this incredible trip, it was really easy to hop on and hop off the trains across Europe. I can confidently say that Eurail Pass is a fantastic way to explore Europe by train, and very cost effective, especially on Eurostar and in the UK. Here are my top tips for the Eurail Pass. Plan ahead. While the pass offers flexibility, some high-speed and popular routes require seat reservations, especially in tourist routes like the Glacier and Bernina Express. Most seat reservations can be directly purchased through the Eurail app. In the UK, it's a bit different. Seat reservations need to be made directly through the train provider's website, like LNER, but these are free. Sleeper trains are also included within the pass, but it's likely you'll need to pay more if you're wanting a room to yourself. Download the Eurail app. It's the easiest way to check train times, routes and make reservations on the go. Validate before first use. Make sure you activate your pass before boarding your first train. Travel light. European trains often have limited luggage space, so a smaller suitcase or backpack is much easier to manage. Know your travel days. For flex passes, you only mark the days you actually use, so group long journeys together to stretch the value. For example, I did Geneva to Edinburgh in one day, which was a lot of trains for not a huge amount of money. Bring snacks and water. Not all trains have food service and some station stops are quick, so come prepared. Mind the time zones. If you're crossing into countries like Switzerland or Hungary, be sure your itinerary accounts for time changes. Enjoy the views. Some of Europe's most beautiful scenery is by rail, and you can choose your seat side depending on the route for the best sights. If you're keen to do a similar trip to this, here are my top tips. Best time to visit. I went in January, and while it was chilly, the snow-covered Alps were absolutely stunning, so don't overlook winter if you're prepared for the cold. Entry requirements. Check the entry requirements for the UK and the EU for this trip. Most travellers can visit the EU for up to 90 days without a visa, but always check the latest rules for your country before you go. Switzerland is not in the EU or in the Eurozone, but is in the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢 region, meaning it has open border with the EU. Currency. The UK uses British pound sterling, France and Italy use the euro, and Switzerland uses Swiss francs. Some may think that you can use euros in Switzerland, but that is not the case. Language. English is widely spoken in the big cities and tourist spots, but learning a few local words always helps. In Switzerland, the main languages are French, German, Italian and English. Pre-book attractions. If you're doing what I did and have short stops at places, avoid the queues and buy tickets in advance. You'll avoid disappointment this way. Staying connected. There is good mobile coverage across Europe and plenty of Wi-Fi hotspots, especially in hotels and cafes. Cultural etiquette. The UK, Italy, Switzerland and France are very welcoming countries, but there are a few things that can irk people. Visit thetouristrooute.com where I've listed a few areas to watch out for. Health and safety. In Europe, health and safety standards are very high, with excellent medical care available across the UK, France, Switzerland and Italy. Many doctors speak English, especially in tourist areas. EU citizens can use the 𝐸HIC for basic care, while others should have travel insurance. Pharmacies are easy to find for minor issues, and 112 is the European-wide emergency number, or 999 in the UK. Keep an eye on your belongings at tourist spots and follow local safety advice. Whether you're chasing art, mountains or football stadiums, travelling by rail through Europe is packed with unforgettable moments. With so many scenic routes and an easy convenient system, it's one of the best ways to explore the continent. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Tourist Route. I hope you enjoyed the journey and found some inspiration for your next trip. If you liked what you watched, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to share and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more travel adventures coming to this channel. For an extra dose of travel tips, helpful links and a deeper dive into all the destinations I've covered, head over to thetouristrooute.com.